In today's video, we're going to be speaking about whether or not there is one grip on the forehand side that is better than all of the other grips. Now, there are 8 bevels on the tennis grip and there are 5 different forehand grips that you can use. So the first one is obviously the continental grip. To find this grip, you need to place your index knuckle of your dominant hand on bevel number 2 if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, this would be to the left-hand side. The next forehand grip is the Eastern forehand grip. To find this grip, you need to place your index knuckle on this flat bevel here. The third grip is the semi-Western grip. Your index knuckle is going to be placed on this 4th bevel here. The next grip is the Western grip. So this again is one bevel round to the right from the semi-Western grip. And so the 5th and final forehand grip is the Hawaiian grip, and this is going one bevel to the right of the Western grip. So this is a really super extreme grip. So now let's talk about the pros and the cons of each of these grips. And so I'm going to rank these grips in order from the best to use, in my personal opinion, to the worst to use. So let's start off with the continental grip. So with this continental grip, it's really tough to hit any topspin on the ball. And this is because your hand is essentially placed on top of the racket like so. So it's easy to hit through the ball, but it's very difficult to put topspin on the ball, and you're going to find yourself having to use a lot of wrist and kind of rolling over the ball like so unnaturally, which is not the best way to produce topspin. So with the continental grip, it's really difficult in today's game with all these heavy topspins kicking back behind the ball to use a continental grip, because you're going to be hitting these shots like so, and it's going to put a strain on your shoulder, elbow, and your racket face is going to be open, causing the ball to fly. So in today's game, the continental grip is not a good option. So I'm sure you guys can guess that the 2 grips that I'm not going to recommend are the continental grip and the Hawaiian grip. And so the Hawaiian grip is not recommended because of the extreme angle of the racket face at contact and the extreme wrist flexion. So naturally you can see here that my hand is placed underneath the racket, whereas with my continental grip the hand was placed on top of the racket. So these 2 extremes are not good ideas, because you're going to struggle to find a clean and an optimized contact point on every single ball. For example, with the continental grip, higher balls are really difficult to control, whereas with the Hawaiian grip, low balls are really going to be tough to get up and over the net. So my ranking so far is number 5 the Hawaiian grip, number 4 the continental grip. I wouldn't recommend these 2 grips to any type of player. So now we have the 3 grips that you should consider on your forehand: the Eastern, the semi-Western, and the Western grip. So let's start off with the Eastern grip. So with our Eastern grip, we have our hand behind the racket like so. So this grip is great for producing control on the ball, and for beginners, I often start beginners on the Eastern grip because it is really nice and easy to control that ball over the net and get a nice solid contact point, because every time your strings are going to be pretty much stable and flat facing your opponent on every contact. So overall, with the Eastern grip, it's easy to hit a nice flat stroke. You're also able to hit topspin, but not as much topspin as if you were to use the semi-Western or the Western grip. So now let's talk about the semi-Western grip. And with the semi-Western grip, our hand now is more so underneath the racket than when we were using that Eastern, which is behind the racket. Now we're moving to shift, which is more underneath the racket with the semi-Western grip. And so naturally this allows us to have that low to high motion to produce topspin way more naturally. But essentially with the semi-Western grip, you're able to really extend through the ball and generate topspin at the same time. So this grip gives you a great balance between topspin as well as hitting a more flatter ball. You're able to hit a heavier topspin ball with the semi-Western grip, and you're able to hit a more flatter topspin ball as well with the semi-Western grip. So this is a very versatile grip. It's easy to use, it's easy to control. I personally use this grip, and I know it's the most popular grip now around the world. So now we're onto the Western grip, and with the Western grip, our hand now is completely underneath the racket face, like so. So it's extremely easy to have this vertical motion into contact, so it's easy to produce a lot of topspin, but it's not as easy to have a horizontal motion through the ball. So it's a lot harder to hit a flat shot using this Western grip, although players like Iga Świątek can easily flatten out their shot because they are so skillful, but that takes a lot of time and training to do. And naturally you can see here that as I come into contact, my strings are pointing down, so you need to have a lot of ability to get on the ball and drive up in order to ensure that your strings are flat facing as you come into the contact point. If you're sloppy with your feet and sloppy with your swing, you're going to find yourself hitting like this and hitting down and hitting a lot in the net. You need to be really intense with your legs, getting under the ball and whipping up the back of the ball to ensure that it goes over the net and in. So overall guys, my top pick for the best forehand grip to use would have to be the semi-Western grip. And this is because it's such a versatile grip, and it's somewhere in between the Eastern grip and the Western grip. The semi-Western is going to give you a sweet spot between the two, and you're going to be able to hit both heavy topspin and flatter topspin shots. So you're going to have that nice diversity to your game, and in today's game that's super important. Guys, if you want more help on your forehand, then make sure you download my free forehand fundamentals guide. That's linked down in the first line of my description box below. And guys, I'll see you in my next video.